What's up? What's up? I'm Big Cheds. We're coming to you live. I'm joined in studio here with Big Chonis. What's up, brother?
Hey Chaz, good evening. Thank you for having me in your home. Whoa, that's very loud. Thank you for having me here tonight. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about, and turn that down a little bit there on the
Okay,
volume.
okay, folks.
Yeah,
We're just playing with some new
there
equipment.
we go. That's better. Uh, ooh,
So
okay.
anyway, folks, I just want to remind you, you can find us on Twitter, and you can find my man here at Big Chonis. He's doing a great job. He does a lot of like GDAX and a lot of analysis between the major and the altcoins. He's also Bittrex focused, so that's pretty cool. I do a lot of Binance stuff. You can find me at Big Cheds, and of course, we do have the complete beginner's guide to cryptocurrency trading. And you can see all the, table of contents, all the sections. Just as a side note, this is only made possible because of you guys. So a lot of the feedback I got from people, that's what helped me put this guide together. So please do check that out, and of course, subscribe to the videos. So where do we want to start tonight, Big Chonas? I know we want to do a lot of altcoins, but really quickly, let's just jump over to say crypto. Let's go to CoinMarketCap,
Sure.
and let's just go right to the front page here on CoinMarketCap. And let's go ahead and sort by number. And let's go ahead and take a look at the volume. I know you like to talk a lot about the historical volume, and that's kind of how we've started a lot of our prior shows. So, what are you seeing right now, and kind of what is your commentary on this?
Well, Chaz, we've been trying to look at the volume for a while, trying to get a kind of understanding about what kind of a market are we in right now. The money flow, the cash flow, the dollar volume of the market, that's going to basically show you, the strength of any market any time. So once we were bottoming out early April there at like under 4 billion several days in a row, we've actually been having some better volume. It's not crazy volume, but I think what's so special about today's volume is it looks really good. I mean, we almost hit $7 billion. That's almost a full billion more than the past three previous days. So it actually shows a slight uptick
Mm-hmm.
in dollar volume. That's a very bullish sign. The market cap is basically holding. I can't believe we were as low as what 115, 112 billion market cap.
Right.
So you see how we've added some decent cheddar to that market cap there. We're kind of looking at where we've been here, the daily chart, and we're clearly in this continued uptrend. I remember like last week when we were talking about when we're still in the mid sixes and we are talking about oh, everybody's prepared for this next dump basically to the 5,000 range or at least a double tap of where we used to be at, and everybody kind of got caught off guard, except for the very smart few, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
who saw this massive spike in volume,
Yeah.
money flow, and we've basically been upper sevens to low eights ever since. And you
Mm-hmm.
have to really hand it to the bulls over the past several days. They've been holding this up. They've been showing a lot of bullish intentions, and because Bitcoin has basically been able to hold this tight price range with decent money flow, a lot of the alts have been able to really have some explosive movement.
It reminds me, I think you had a tweet. I don't know if we could find it, but you did mention something about if Bitcoin, this is a couple weeks back, you said if Bitcoin can stabilize and go sideways, then altcoins can run. And we've talked about that a lot. I think just real quickly, I know we want to get to altcoins tonight, but what jumps out to me is I kind of see like an M top, W bottom. You
Mm.
see the M top
Hmm.
and you see the W bottom here.
Hmm.
So that's kind of interesting, folks. You see the M, I'm going to do it again with my mouse, M top, and the W bottom. So these are kind of like classical concepts in classical concepts. And just as a quick disclaimer, we're not advisors. This isn't financial advice. We're just having fun. We've been talking about stocks for years, and we decided to kind of record it, and hopefully you guys enjoy it, and we know you do. So yeah, we've seen that. The candles, we kind of looking a little closer, Big Jonas. Just want to kind of get a sense of what we're looking at. So we are seeing kind of a bullish, kind of a continued consolidation pattern here. We're not getting clear signals either direction, but we're certainly keeping our gains. And notable to me is we're holding over. I'm going to go ahead and just indicate to me
Okay.
right here. We're holding over that price level, which is kind of interesting. Big Jonas?
So yeah, you spoke out the 7,800-ish area there. We've seen that tested numerous times. It's held above it. Ever it's dropped below, it's basically found the volume to push through. Let's acknowledge and stay here on the daily for a moment. A lot of people have been waiting for some correction, to the mid 6,500 area. The thing that really has to be acknowledged here is that we haven't had that correction yet. I think people are waiting for that correction based on this current move,
Right.
and we're showing this credible bullishness because we're able to maintain this sideways action for such a long time here.
Sure.
Now, I asked you to scan on the daily for a couple of reasons here. It's very important to get a sense of kind of where we're at here using the daily chart.
Yep.
And understand kind of where we're at here. We have tried to break the upper Bollinger a couple times.
Yep, right here. This is one here. We're
Yep.
rejected, so we're rejected right here.
Okay. The
Okay.
Bollingers had tightened, but are not super
They're
tight
not that
right
tight.
now.
These
They're
are
not
pretty
that tight.
loose.
That's pretty loose.
Pretty
okay?
loose.
So we're riding in this upper Bollinger zone here.
Okay.
Okay. It wouldn't be the
But
craziest
that's why it's
thing.
consolidating. It's
Right.
pulled back. It's,
No,
it's basically recognizing that. The price is respecting the Bollingers, right?
And I wouldn't be surprised if we do touch or test that upper Bollinger once again.
Once again, but it'll be up here, though. Now it would be
up
at
there.
8,500,
And that's
8,600.
interesting because
Yeah.
if we get there,
Sure.
then is that next push to 85 to 87
Sure.
before having corrected to that 7,500 range?
Right. Are we going to form like a rising wedge, maybe, right?
Another rising wedge, which
Right.
actually, is it a bullish impulse raise, or are we just creating this giant rising wedge, which in some circumstances can be very bearish when it sells off? So keep an eye on where the middle Bollinger is, because how it's been respecting the upper Bollinger area so much, any reset would fall into that middle Bollinger range,
Yeah.
which is currently right around maybe that 7,300 area. But that will rise continuously as Bitcoin price rises as well. So we
Okay.
kind of see that it's in a solid zone here where
Yeah.
it's not super
Let's go in. Do
overbought.
you want to go in a little bit, and then let's move
Sure.
on to Ethereum, and then we'll kind of get these altcoins going. So 4 hour. I mean, look at this. Now we're talking about tighter Bollinger Bands, Big Chonis. You're talking about kind of this. This is kind of a standard deviation. When the Bollinger Bands are tight like that, that indicates a period of indecision, a period of a really tight battle between bulls and bears. It's like a tug of war battle at your friend's birthday party, and no one can really. No one can get an edge over anyone else, right? And they're just sitting there pulling at the middle. So that's kind of what you kind of envision. Yeah, Big Chonis.
Yeah, I mean, if you zoom in, and let's just do an example here. Do the 30-minute, if you will.
Okay.
And you can see some of the volatility that we've seen through the day here.
Yep.
Where we've had some seemingly big dumps very quickly, followed by rises. So we're
Okay.
still rising up there. But
Yeah,
what's
this is interesting.
to
The Bart, is this the reverse Bart? Are we doing double Bart Simpson, or is it a triple Bart Simpson? And how many Simpsons do you need before you become a full
Family of Simpsons?
A full chart Simpson, I guess.
So my point with this is that this is a situation I feel here where you can't watch these short-term price charts because, God, I mean, you see a $200 drop in 5 minutes. That's
Yep.
crazy. That will really change.
Well, are they flushing out shorts? Right. See, with those moves like
Yeah.
that, you could be flushing out whatever future traders, right, in either direction with those types of moves.
And
right?
the reason I bring that up is
Yeah.
if you zoom in just a little bit here, you see how these have a lot of long wicks in some areas.
Oh, with these upper
with
shadows.
the tight bodies.
Yeah.
That basically tells you a lot of this in the low volume situation we have
Okay,
here.
yeah.
That's a lot of bot algorithm trading.
There's a lot
there.
of people talking about bots. I've noticed that too. I saw someone talking about that. So we're going to keep an eye on that. I know I want to move on, but just to put a couple buttons on this. This is still uptrending.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Let's go to, let's stay on the 30-minute, and let's go to Ethereum. We'll stay on 30-minute. We'll work our way out. Clearly, it's an uptrend.
Yeah.
And the first thing that jumps out to me.
Although we still haven't broken this area here, which
Right.
has been kind of our top. For
Yeah,
a
but we
while.
broke this area here, which is this is your usual suspect. To reject your uptrend, that's broken right here. We are forming a type of a bullish consolidation pattern. It's roughly speaking, I'm going to go ahead and say ascending triangle, if I can find that somewhere. Maybe an ascending triangle here, possibly. You see how kind of we have this flat top over the rising bottom. You could call it a rising wedge, perhaps. So Ethereum looks pretty good in 30-minute. Do you want? I'm going to jump to 4 hours. Is that okay?
Sure.
4. Let's go 4 hour. I'm going to remove all these old marks. We have kind of a almost like a blow dryer format, right? You see the blow dryer?
Well, the 4 hour I think really tells a lot of the story right here because we went up such a great move basically from the mid 360s all the way up to the 500s there, 525. And we basically trying to consolidate in this area, allow everybody to kind of catch their breath and everything in this overbought zone. So Ethereum right here, the longer it goes sideways, you have to argue the more bullish that feels kind of be because the sideways basically will consolidate and add a little more strength to
without
the OBV.
giving your gains back.
Exactly. So It could be setting up for the next push.
Look how high we are over this recent volume
So
cluster,
this is
right?
a very important point here because Ether has led the way here in terms of volume.
Yeah.
It was the most oversold. We were talking about how low the RSIs were.
4 hour or daily? We're talking about daily RSI, right? We talked about
Sure.
Every show we mentioned how low the daily RSI was 15, right?
Yeah, and that's like
And it's led the way.
stupid low for a coin so far that is important. So because of that, because we see that here, we've had tremendous movement ever since then, and we basically were rejected by the upper Bollinger.
That's
an
ascending
back
triangle.
a little bit there, but there's definitely bullishness still here, even though some indicators are pushing to a higher angle there. Yeah, I would agree. That's
right. That's an ascending triangle,
like an ascending triangle, which is a bullish indicator. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that would just kind of suggest
potential continuation.
Yeah. Litecoin will stay at the daily. We're at 130 now. We've been able to break 140. Now we're kind of back there, but it feels like it's kind of like that. It's kind of like tortoise and the hare, and it's like this is the which one's the slow and steady?
Well, Litecoin has been slow and steady,
Yeah.
and if you've basically held since
M top, W bottom.
how many times
top,
did we
W
have to basically have a chance to purchase Litecoin at 110, 111, 112?
Okay.
You know, hated it at 112, like it at 140.
Of course. Isn't that the worst? Isn't that so annoying?
I was thinking about it today when it hit 140, and it's touched it a couple times.
Have you seen those memes, Big Chonis? And this is Big Cheds, by the way. Have you seen those memes where it's like, if you don't love me at my X, and you don't deserve me at my whatever? And that's Litecoin, because it's like, it's at 116. You're like, no, I want 112. You know, how many people? Oh, it's at 116. You know what? Oh, I'm smart. I'm waiting for 112, and now we're at 140. And guess what, buddy?
And it hasn't been easy to hold this 140 as the week has gone on. There's been a lot of volatility between 120 and 135.
Is volume good? Is it comfortable? Do you like it?
So there's things I like about the price action here, and there's things I really don't. The first basically is there's a timidness basically to the price movements that we've seen in Litecoin. It has lagged Bitcoin a little bit, and definitely has lagged Ether, and up till recently has definitely lagged Bitcoin Cash. So you have a situation like that. You have a situation where there's now a psychological situation where the 110 area is a really strong support. That's a great thing there. You know, that's something that you have to say that we tested it 3 times in that 110 to 115 area. We held strong every time. We had a good base of money flow in that area too. So that adds a lot of conviction to the price of Litecoin, putting at 139 right now with this steady climb over the past couple of weeks.
Are we going 200? I mean,
valid.
look, this is what the people want to know. Are we going 200 or not? Like, let's be real here.
Can we go to 100 future? Absolutely.
Right.
But here's the thing. Litecoin has also shown that it has basically, up until now, continuously moved more or less in step with Bitcoin.
Right.
There have been divergence moments where it has spiked quite a lot faster than Bitcoin has, but it definitely has been affected by the price.
Basically the same, yeah.
It's a very similar chart.
Except when there's events, news
chart.
events, light pay, not light pay. I mean, there's some good more recent. Litecoin's had a couple like integration news where they're like, so-and-so merchants using it for X, Y, and Z. We've seen a little bit of that, right?
Look, it's going to benefit as we start to see a little bit of money flow into the market.
Yeah.
If you're a Coinbase user, GDAX, you basically have 4 options: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah.
So you see Litecoin, it's $139. A lot of people are almost just coming to now crypto. So 139, they never saw the $300, the $400 price point that Litecoin was at. So if you just come to a certain asset at a certain price point, you don't have a really good reference point to know if it's priced too high or priced too low.
Like what do you What's
so
this comparable?
This can be a good
What's
thing.
This comparable to?
140 could be a value. Think about, wow, it's been to 400.
Is 140? Let me pardon me. I'm going to pose an interesting question. So it's like, if you're looking at Litecoin, is 140 valuable because it was used to be 200, or is Litecoin valuable at 140 because Bitcoin is at 8,000? You know what I mean? It's like there's different ways to justify something, and the question is Is that your method to just apply a valuation, or do you have a technical analysis method where you try to pick your position and channel?
So the way you can answer that question is by looking at the dollar volume and the money flow. So
Yeah.
we saw what kind of volume we
Yeah,
had
right over here.
when
Right here.
the real money was flowing in,
Yeah.
and this was nuts.
Yeah.
You see where we've been for such a long time. Okay, so even though we're on a great,
It's not
nice
bad though.
uptrend,
This is better
it's
than
not
here,
bad.
right? You break a
It's
downtrend,
consistent.
downtrend break, right, and then kind of a new downtrend, and there's almost like a new downtrend break, no?
It is,
Let me
but
draw that. Go
perhaps
ahead.
we've just been oversold for a while, and we're getting a little bit of Momo right here.
Me and you, or Litecoin?
Well,
Both of
mostly
us.
all crypto in general.
But
You
boom,
have
right
to
there.
argue
Look at
there's been
that.
some
So you
great
got to
movement there.
see, right? So you expect a new, you know what I mean? So you see, you have downtrend break, and now we have a new downtrend break, right? So I'm gonna ask Big Chonis to go fix me another drink here real quick, and then we're gonna go. We're gonna take some altcoin requests. I've already told the chat room to start us up. So I'm gonna have Chonis, Big Chonis. Once again, this is Big Cheds. Find me on Twitter. I'm at Big Cheds. Find my man Big Chonis on Twitter at Big Chonis, and the blog, yada yada yada, of course. So let's take a look at the first one you picked, Chonis. What do you like?
Let's start with Stellar Lumens XLM. It's been a crazy mover the past couple days.
Okay.
But before, we'll bring up the chart real quickly, and then
I want to do that, or
okay? I want to do the chart first.
Yep.
A little chart, and then
okay.
we'll go to the coin market cap to get a sense of where
CMC,
it is.
as we call it, if you're cool, CMC.
Exactly. All right. So let's
double
click.
That's pretty impressive. What are we doing? Okay.
Double click. Let's get a big. All right. Perfect. Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm gonna remove my prior mark. First glance, I'll let you go, but I just look at this chart. This is one of those charts when you see it, you're like, man, I wish I was in this one.
Listen, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're on the 10th day of green candle tremendousness. We are up almost what, 70%, 60% run here. Now, this is important for a couple of reasons here. This was a big coin in the bull run of basically the end of the year into January.
Yep.
This had an epic move. This was, basically 1,000 Satoshi, and it ran to about, 6,000, 7,000.
Did you want to look at like circulating supply or any of that stuff, or no?
Soon on 6,000, so we're just looking at the chart right now.
Yep.
Okay. So we have to understand kind of where we are in the whole chart experience here. We have had very quickly in the past week and a half a very huge move that on the daily chart based on the Bollinger Bands shows we are way outside the standard
this right
deviation.
here is pretty crazy.
Okay, even in its big bull run here, you see two candles that extended super far out.
Look at this, Big Chonis. If you had said the same rationale right here, logically, right here at 50, you would have potentially maybe missed this peak to 67.
So what did that tell you?
I don't know. It tells you better to be lucky than good.
But you have to have a plan in this.
Yeah.
If you are buying into this kind of strength right now, you have to have your expectations in check. This has been a great runner here, and I think it has a great long-term future and will be a big player in the months and years to come. But for right now, you have to acknowledge that this is a way overbought situation. There'll be a much better price entry point available. I guarantee it. At some point it will happen because everything corrects on these super overbought areas here. And it will. And this will be an opportunity to get a much better entry point if you're just patient. And that's the thing there. Let's move into the 4-hour here, and I'll tell you why. Because if you look at the 4-hour here, and we can bring up your other indicators as well. Okay, like that's beautiful. That's a great kind of spread out there. Let's get smaller again so we can look at the indicators. Okay, but we are super pegged off now on the RSI on the 4-hour and the stock RSI on the 4-hour. The OBV is great. I love that. Nice bullish momentum there. But there's a thing about what we have right now where a good reset is guaranteed, and you see that because they can short this coin in certain exchanges there. So this gets shorts now attempted if it feels it's overbought, and it can create a situation where they can make a lot of money. They can create a very steep red candlestick.
That's a great call, man. I think XL and this is Big Cheds, and thank you, Big Chonis. This is one to watch. Clearly, we're seeing some nice price movement. The candles are healthy. We had a couple fake out potential sell signals. We had a potential, almost like a gravestone doji here. Big Chonis, see that back here?
Yeah.
That was a potential fake out signal, and then again here.
Because and that's the good thing. The money flow in this thing is great. This is one to keep an eye on here. Because there's a lot of money in this, though, it can go both ways. So attention and money can bring both sides of the market. The shorters are part of this as well. You have to factor that in.
Right.
So there'll be a better opportunity than I feel what we have right now. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of Stellar Lumen. They have a solid team. They could have been the Ripple that Ripple is now if they kept things moving through their process there. But they are definitely a player. CoinMarketCap will basically show you that people that are new to crypto right now and basically don't know where to begin are kind of look at top 10 coins, and they see Stellar at number 7 here with a low market cap and 37 cents per coin. They're like, heck, all right, that's a good, maybe I'll start there right now. So you have to keep that in mind.
That's a great call, Big Jonas.
Where the new person in crypto, remember, every day we have new people coming into crypto. So they're experiencing this for the first time. So their very first impression on a lot of these coins is what they see in the top 10. So that's why you're seeing a lot of money flow in these coins specifically, and even the top 30 or 40. That's what's getting a lot of the attention right now. So if you're playing these alts, listen, you have to realize right now, there's a lot of money flowing in now. This is a good feeling. We have not felt this in the alts since January. We have to acknowledge that. A couple alts that have ran huge. Remember EOS through February, a few of the ones that have bucked the trend while Bitcoin has basically been correcting. We're now in this moment that feels very much like what we had in December and January with a lot of the money flow and a kind of irrational exuberance. You have to be smart here. There's great opportunities, but if you want to buy into a coin that's up 20-30% in a 24-hour period, you have to realize that these things have to correct to get yourself a better entry. It will happen. So be smart. You haven't missed the boat on these at all. And again, Bitcoin will dictate all of this. If Bitcoin starts moving to 8,500 or higher, that will definitely help this alt run continue. If it corrects to the mid 7,500s, but it does it methodically without a big crash, this will also continue to add support to alts. If we break down under 7,500, that could definitely create a different environment. We're nowhere near that. But for now, you have to acknowledge there's good money flow flowing into alts. There's probably a lot of running room left in these as well. Just pick your battles wisely.
That's really smart. I think that's great perspective, Big Chonis. It's too easy to get wrapped up in almost a daily narrative and forget that these things have a weekly, monthly, yearly kind of ebb and flow to them. Just real quick on Lumen, I'll wrap it up personally. If you're a bull here and you want to try to cash the nut top, which is kind of impossible, watch the RSI as one potential sign, because in that prior massive bull peak, this is a level to watch. Because right now, if you're still holding and not taking profit, you've got some guts, because the daily RSI is like 85. So that's something you want to keep an eye on. This last candle we put in is not that bad yet. It's got a little bit of an upper shadow, but it could be a lot worse. Not a huge warning sign. So I would just keep an eye on the 4-hour. Looks a little bit overextended. Let's just be honest, folks. We're at like an 89, almost a 90 RSI. So this is due to pull back, but it could keep ripping. You never know. It's a probability game. Let's take a look at the chat room for another request here, Big Chonis. Let's go ahead and scan the chat room. I'm gonna take a look. Let's do ICX. ICX. I know that's a popular coin. Let's pull that up just real quickly. I'm gonna go ahead to the CoinMarketCap. Let's pull up ICX. Let's get a sense. We're the number 21 here at ICX. And just in this little mini chart, it's had a nice little run up 15%. And I'm going to start here. I already have the 4-hour up. So this too looks pretty darn hot. We have almost an 80 RSI on the 4-hour here. Really healthy on balance volume. We are trading notably above the upper Bollinger Band. We had a potential fake out here, a potential bear trap, where this prior candle, which is a little bit of a shooting star here, which is a big profit taking signal, you had a nice run after that, Big Chonis. So that's kind of something to keep an eye on. Just looking at the daily chart as well, the daily chart is also overextended, but it's actually not as overextended, Big Chonis, as the 4-hour chart. Because the 4-hour chart, you know, you've got your RSI, at 80, but on the daily chart, pardon us, folks. Yeah, but in the daily chart, your RSI is not as hot. So what are your feelings here on the daily chart, you know, for ICX, Big Chonis?
So moving above the upper Bollinger is something you want to keep an eye on. But the other thing that is interesting is when the Bollingers tighten right there, that basically shows that a move is in play. So because they got so tight there, I'm not as concerned that we're super above the upper Bollinger currently, because we've seen areas where we've had a much higher you know, thing there. If we want to go to the 4-hour there, get a better sense. Yeah, I mean, the RSI right now is the one that really kind of says, whoa, we are super basically on the upper end. You also see there's not a lot of money volume up in this area here, so there isn't a lot of support in this area here. Can we go a few more percentage points higher? Absolutely. There's some super nice money flow in here, but we're getting those points there where if you want to trade this thing, keep your expectations tight, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5%, take profits through it. At this point, there will present you a better entry opportunity here if you feel A, you want to go long, or B, there's another reset before some more bullish moves.
Excellent. So Big Chonis, and once again, this is Big Cheds coming to you live. Altcoin Mania. Do you want to pick one from the chat room, my friend, and we can keep the party rolling here?
Sure. Well, you know, it's great to be here with you, Cheds. It's great to talk, you know, crypto with you. A lot of friends out here in the Cheds in the chat room tonight. 442 of our closest friends. It's happy to see all you guys here. You know, we're trying to basically talk about what we think we're seeing in the charts.
Yep.
We've been talking crypto amongst ourselves all day, and just really fascinated by a lot of what's happening. It's amazing how quickly the market can turn around from very bearish, I felt, sentiment for quite a while. You know, I have felt bearish in a lot of things here, but you have to acknowledge, you know, the past 2 weeks, at least since the beginning of April here, the incredible runs, from a percentage standpoint at least, a lot of these coins and tokens have had, as Bitcoin has basically kind of remained pretty stable. And you have to try and figure out kind of where are we at here, what is this market we're in, and kind of trade accordingly. So all right, we got a couple of requests here. All right, let's just bang them out here. Let's do a DGB. Digibyte.
Let's pull it just real quickly. Let's check DGB. This is the number 56.
All right, so look at this. Now this is very interesting here. There is 10 billion plus Digibyte out there in circulation.
Is that a lot?
Well, that's a very good question. With a current USD market price of around 3 cents. Is that how you see that, Chad?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you think about, all right, this is 3 cents a token here. Well, that's super cheap. And as new people come into crypto, they're going to see that as well. Wow, I can buy this thing for 3 cents. Maybe they'll put a couple $100 in it, maybe a little more, you know, see how that goes there. You have to keep your expectations in check. With a $10 billion float, if you will, circulating supply out there, you have to factor that in terms of a future valuation for these coins. Now, we've seen with coins like Ripple or Cardano, which have very large circulating supplies out there, can run huge and create a very large market cap. Ripple peaked out at 140 billion, and it's currently at what? 27 billion right now. So you can kind of see that even though these things have tremendous circulating supplies, you know, in the tens of billions, it's a lot of coin out there, they can still in a bull market create exponential growth, and that's something you have to keep an eye on.
Excellent. That's a great point, and thank you for giving us that greater perspective, Big Chonis. 4-hour chart, clearly we're in a bull run and you're trying to pull back, and this is a game you always play. A, is it going to keep uptrending, and B, if it is uptrending, where is it going to kind of bounce from? So you're saying, okay, it's clearly pulling back. I would expect personally a third red candle, Big Chonis, of this nature, and I would just real quickly, I'd be looking for support levels. This is clearly an important support level right here at 383, Big Chonis. Your RSI is hot, you know, but you could always turn around if the momentum is right. You do have a nice on-balance volume. What do you think?
I like how it touched the upper Bollinger here.
Yep.
I like how it touched the lower Bollinger
Yeah.
there. And then right in the upper Bollinger.
So it went here, upper Bollinger,
Yep.
lower Bollinger, and then here again, upper,
Yep.
and then middle.
Yep.
And now it's...
So look for a middle test.
Okay, middle Bollinger test.
And that might be an entry point.
Right there. It could be right around this 383
And if that
level.
breaks, you look for the bottom one for your dollar cost.
Yep.
And that would be a very good better entry. Value entry based on where it is now.
Like down here, 330.
So that could be basically a setup for the next trade if you feel this is in a continued uptrend pattern.
Yeah, right here too. And that would coincide. So if that breaks, I'd be looking right here. That support level right there.
Which is what?
Which is right at 336.
Cool. I agree.
So that'd be kind of next. Let's check the chat room. I see a lot of ZRX chatter. We're going to do ZRX real quick. Let's take a look at ZRX. Let's go to CoinMarketCap as well. I'm just curious. ZRX, we are the number 40 AUX. This is actually my favorite token. It's just a great project, and this is the one I like. So that's my disclaimer. So ZRX, let's go ahead and pull it up. It has been on quite a rip. I did draw briefly an uptrend line here, and you saw how it broke. That was almost a bear trap. It did, however, bounce off its middle Bollinger. It's going back up. This actually could be an ascending triangle again. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. I'm just going to assume it's bullish because it's been bullish. So you just assume the trend's the same. But this kind of almost is an ascending triangle. If I was to draw a flat top, especially with the candle bodies here. If I was to go ahead and draw, say, like a flat top, like right there, and I go ahead and draw kind of a line like that, we have something like an ascending triangle, Big Chonis. What are your thoughts?
All right, so there's a few things I really like about this chart and a few things that give me some pause.
Okay.
And now let's stay with the 4-hour here and basically start from there. So the biggest thing that I want to talk about is actually, if we can go to the daily chart real fast, because there was something about ZRX I've been watching for quite a while here. And zoom in just a little bit here, and let's maximize this if we could.
Like that?
Yep, and zoom in just a little bit there.
Okay.
A little more. Good.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3. So we had three... I guess two really big wicks through this uptrend
here and here.
Where the first wick, we basically topped out at what, 11,000 something? And I'm pretty sure that was the day where there was the rumor that Coinbase was going to be adding ZRX to its platform. And there was enough hype and pump in the market to push that crazy. Now look at, if you had bought and sold it all at the top of that right there, you didn't have to go through all this week here. We're not even back to where we were at top of that there. So do I see that as kind of a continuation move here from a parabolic spike from 2 weeks ago that we're trying to retest here? It's very fascinating that this has even with those two huge spikes, it's continued this upward momentum here on not the greatest volume, but good buy volume. People like this one. They want to hold it. They've been holding it. But is this the moment where you want to take an entry, or will it present a better buying opportunity? I think it will. The daily suggests we're outside the Bollinger currently. So right there, I don't want to buy anything that's outside the Bollinger on the daily chart. I don't care how bullish you are.
Well,
for me,
but right here, what if right here though?
Because it's the width, because of how spread it out. Here wasn't that spread because we're already pinched. So if you kind of do a little thing there, I don't have a lot of fear with that one there because of how not pinched we are. As we spread out, we're now bigger than a lot of these open areas here, and that tells me that at the moment there could be a better buy opportunity if you want to ride this one to some more gains. And you have to keep an idea about where we've been. We were bottomed at what, 4,000-ish Satoshi area about 3 weeks ago. We're now at 11,000, so we're over 100% gain in the past couple of weeks here. So if you're buying into this here, you have to keep that in mind. Something like that in this short amount of time can present you with a better entry point for a longer term hold.
All right, so that's a great point. And just real quick, you were making an interesting observation. You noticed the Bollingers are pinching now with the Bollingers widening like that. That's indicative of a trend change with some strength, either up or down. So this basically tells you you're in an uptrend, and what you're telling me is you don't want to catch the uptrend when it already has a few chapters in the book, right? You don't want to jump in chapter 5 or 6. Which is notable for me is these two prior peaks here, the one here and one here, Big Chonis, were both from Coinbase pumps. Rumors. I have a friend who keeps texting me, "What's up with ZRX? Why is it running? What, surely something's up." I'm like, "Man, I don't know. I keep checking around. I'm not seeing a rumor." And I'm one of the biggest proponents of ZRX, and I don't think it's going to go on Coinbase because the guy basically said no new altcoins this year. He said, nothing's regulated enough. Big Chonis?
So let's ask the question: are winners and losers being picked right now in crypto?
Maybe.
Okay, you have a situation where we had parabolic runs at the end of last year, beginning of this year, where a lot of people were new and introduced into crypto and watched some amazing gains come through. So they remember these coins, they remember what they did, they remember how it went. So now you have a situation where you're repeating some of that momentum, some of that FOMO that we felt back, several months ago there. Are winner coins being chosen? Are people who are getting into crypto now saying, all right, I am deciding which of the coins and tokens have the best chance to be long-term gainers, and what might be 30 cents or 10 cents or $3 now could be hundreds of dollars in a matter of months or a year. So I think this is a new concept that we have to keep adding into our crypto talk, where are there long-term people that will continuously be adding as time goes on, no matter what the price action is, because they're believers in these coins. And the more people hold through all this, the stronger these coins will be, and they can actually absorb a lot of these large circulation coins. So this adds to the bullishness long term. This is a very positive thing. The question is, suckouts happen, quick market changes happen. Big players and whales have the ability to affect the markets to go up and down. When they bring markets down, they want to accumulate at a better, lower price point. It will happen again. So don't feel like you've missed the gravy train. There's plenty of opportunities to ride a lot of these coins to epic gains. You just have to be patient and pick your battles smart. A lot of these are in places here where I feel as a trader are a little too overbought, and I want to see how it plays out. I feel I've missed the boat on a lot of these, and I think that's basically how we have to see it. Let's go back to the chat room right now. Take a few more alt requests here. BNB, that's been one that we've basically been watching some big, really good price action for. Let's check it out.
Yeah, BNB's big. It's a Binance coin. And I've been kind of watching this one. Daily chart, you are oversold. At least stochastics, you're about mid-channel RSI. You have some pretty healthy on-balance volume. Clearly, when you're looking at a daily chart, lower Bollinger is more powerful in the 4-hour chart than a 1-hour chart, right? And on the daily. So when your price is near the lower Bollinger in the daily chart, you're pretty oversold, Big Chonis. So just, I'm going to take a quick peek. I had a 1 hour up earlier, and you kind of had like a medium trend, downtrend break here. We're kind of breaking out, and we're potentially consolidating. So you could call this potentially a bullish flag rather. So we have potentially a bullish flag. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up here, which is saying it's really a falling wedge. But it's often also called a bullish flag pattern here, consolidation. Doesn't mean it will fall through, but it looks to potentially do that given the recent downtrend break. What are your thoughts on BNB here, say it, on the 4-hour chart?
Well, listen, I remember you've been watching this one for a while because it had such a great rise. Then you were seeing how much of a correction basically it was accelerating through right now. Today's, or at least yesterday's market action there was pretty impressive there. We have a nice 2 wicks on the lower, actually I put a tweet out about this too, that this for the first time, maximize, this for the first time has shown, and hide the volume, has basically in the past 4-hour thing there. That's a great situation there. We have 2 wicks that broke the lower Bollinger, and they both closed within the lower Bollinger.
Yeah,
that's a good buy signal that the market people like to see there.
Yep.
Now we had a couple situations like that where we had that before over here, and that did actually produce some nice candles bounce, there.
Yeah.
But this is another really definitive area here where there's a little stability.
Well, is there historic support here?
Let's find out. Is there? It
okay,
is.
so right here.
We're getting into that zone there where we had a lot of consolidation.
Right here.
And look at the money flow there. We're at the bottom, the peak.
Yeah, there's a lot of them right here, there. Right
that was a no-brainer there. You could possibly see. Now, I know a lot of that was added in this past few candles there. So, but still, we're corresponding with what where history used to be at.
Yeah, so that's what I often call logical support area. And now up here, what I would call a logical resistance area will be right here. right? Because it's just basically wherever you had volume in the past, that becomes your resistance. So if this thing runs, it's gonna have some trouble breaking the 16 level. I'm gonna go ahead and jump to the chat room next and see what the people want. We want to give the people what they want, Big Chonis.
Well, the people want TRX. Let's go to TRX.
Okay, is this a new coin? I haven't heard of it before.
It's new. It's the hottest thing in the market.
So this is on a nice run, actually, and I had a thesis. I had a thesis a while back. I won't bore you guys with trying to find the tweet, but the gist of it is that the TRX and the XVG people are kind of similar. They're the same. And a lot of the people who trade them or even hodl them pull money in from one to the other. So now the kind of XVG's momentum is a downward momentum. When the news, buy the rumor, sell the news. When the news came out, a lot of people started to pull that money and put it into TRX. I saw it at 5:30. I tweeted about it at 5:30 saying it's going to happen potentially in reverse. You know what? I'm going to pull up the tweet. I'm going to do it. I remember because I think I used the wrong word, but it was an interesting tweet. I promise it will pull up here. Maybe not. Yeah, all right. Anyway, not as much as I wanted. All right, no good. But anyway, that's the point, folks, is the XVG money, and you've noticed that, Big Chonis, as well. There's that concept that the XVG and the TRX hodlers are kind of the same, and the money will flow from one to another. So I think that's contributing to this nice move in TRX. That's the point I'm getting at. What are your thoughts about that?
All right, so let's pull up CoinMarketCap first, because this is the first thing I wanted to look at when I look at TRX. Whenever you're new into a coin, the very first thing you want to look into is CoinMarketCap. You want to get an understanding of what the evaluation of the current coin is. So right now, as we look at it, there's 65,748,111,645 Tron tokens out there in the world. 65 billion is a lot. So right now it's a valuation of roughly 4 cents.
So is this six times more than Digibyte?
Was that what?
It was like 10.
10 billion. Yeah.
So Digibyte was big. This is 6 times as big as big, right?
Now,
however,
you have a situation like Ripple, which has fewer coins at 40 billion, but at its peak had a valuation 5 times. Why did you do that?
I don't know. I was trying to see because I know they have more they can print. Don't they have an issue where they have outstanding?
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
So 5 times where they were now. So in theory, from a valuation standpoint, you could argue that Tron could be 20, 25, even 30 cents. With a valuation and still have a market circulating supply of 65 billion. So yes, there is a great return potential, but you have to keep your understanding of this in check. We're at 4 or 5 cents and we have a market cap of 3 billion. Could it get to 10 billion? It absolutely could. Could it get to 50 billion? It absolutely could. But you have to have a sense of the price point. Is that attracting people where they see, oh, this is so cheap, it's 4 cents. I'll put some money in that. That contributes. You have a lot of believers in Tron that really like the product, like the potential, like the technology behind it. These are all very positive things that can help a coin kind of keep, maintain, and move. Now, it had a great parabolic run. If we go back to the chart, back in the day there, that's what brought a lot of people to it. I'll go to the daily chart here. It corrected, pretty strong ever since there, where we pick out a 2,000-ish Satoshi there. So yeah, that's an example there where Tron was at 20 cents or so. So it shows you how it can be because we've already set the precedent for that valuation price point. There is nothing that doesn't tell me that this could definitely get a lot higher and surpass its past all-time high basically at the beginning of this year. A couple of things I like to see is we have basically been in this elongated sideways action around the 400 to 500 Satoshi range. It's held. It's shown conviction in its price point that people that want to hold are not prepared to sell much lower than this range here. The length of this consolidation and how tight the Bollingers got on the daily is very important as well. So we've established actually a pretty decent level of support in this range here. And that's something you want to see if you want to see a coin actually grow and hold its gains. There'll always be dips. There'll always be suckouts that happen through the market. But this is a situation where you have this long-term area of building momentum in the same price range here that can surpass a lot of the negative things about how much coin is actually out there. So this is a tradable coin. It's a very healthy chart here. It's not overbought yet. The RSI shows that. Even the stock RSI shows that. Let's see the OBV stay strong, and there's a very good chance that with more money flow, this can definitely continue to move.
All right, that's a great point. I just real quick, this is what I was trying to find earlier. Basically, I was making the point that given that TRX and XUZ holders, same cloth. So basically, when it's a seesaw. So you kind of want to go wherever their momentum is. So that's a good reason why. This was back yesterday. What are we? The 18th. So yesterday, I was noting this is when TRX is about 530, that it would make sense for money to start to flow into TRX, and it has been. Shall I go ahead and pick the next one, or do you want to go ahead and pick one? I'll pick BAT. I just saw a couple requests for BAT. Let's go ahead and pull up BAT, BTC. We'll go on the daily chart. Gosh darn, look at that, Big Chonis. Look at BAT on the daily chart. That is just pretty impressive. We did leave a little bit of food on the table though yesterday, did we not, Big Chonis?
So on a daily chart, that's a decent wick. It's an amazing candle there. What a great uptrend this has been here. I mean, you have to argue this has been a winner. People took profits though. They rolled this one good. Is this the beginning of something here? It's so crazy though. You have to see how this is a mini parabolic move we've had here. So are you buying into this super strength here? We have this upward trend, but is this your moment where you want to get into basic attention token? You have to think about this as a trader. This is a daily candle. This is a huge candle here with a huge wick. So if you want to trade this, you got to keep your expectations in check. Most of the money flow and the dollar volume is at a much lower price point right now. So if you want to go long on this, if you want to think this is something that's going to be important through the days there's better buying opportunities than this one right now. It's super topped off. People that have been riding this will want to take profits. And if you want to kind of ride this longer, there'll be better entry points that my man Cheds here is laying out very nicely.
Yeah, it's a great job. I was just pointing out, Big Chonis, a couple areas to watch. Clearly, we had an amazing move. I don't know if they signed like Michael Jordan or something, but this is a pretty incredible daily candle yesterday. We gave a lot of it back. If it can continue, which it would be shocking but possible, then you want to go ahead and watch 5,700 area. If you are, well, obviously you'd have to break through also 5,000 area. If you are rejected, we have a couple areas to watch for. You do want to watch this area certainly here around 3,700, and about 3,000 would be like a nice nut entry.
I can't express how high above the Bollinger on the daily this currently is right now.
Nuts. It's nuts. Nuts. It's nuts. Why don't you grab another one from the chat room?
All right. Let's go to ENG. What's up, Oscar? Let's go to ENG.
Okay. And let's go to ENG. Let's go ahead and just get a sniff here on CoinMarketCap. I don't know what that means, but let's go ahead to ENG Enigma. Okay, Enigma. ENG. We are number 96 on CoinMarketCap. Big Chonis for ENG.
Not bad. That's the thing there. Top 100 coins. Keep an eye on these. So right now we know that Enigma's at 96. In a week from now, let's say it's at 90, okay? That's a positive sign there because that tells you that it's getting money flow. Let's say in a week from now, Enigma's at 107. Okay, that's another example there of, wait a minute here, maybe there's not a lot of in here. Keep an eye on these higher coins here. Keep track of where they sit in CoinMarketCap. It will give you a better idea of all these coins, which ones actually have the money flow momentum. The big winners in these are going to be the ones that can claw their way up to the top 25, 50, 75 in terms of market cap. So you want to see which ones are moving quicker than the rest, which ones are being left behind. It's very important. So ENG, it's a great chart here. You know, we had a parabolic run as like all of them back in early January there. A long consolidation. Let's take a log here for just a second here. I want to see what it looks like a little better there. So we're in an uptrend. You know, we've had a lot of good sideways action here. The daily, the stock RSI is definitely topped off. The RSI still has running room, but is getting a little toppy there. OBV is beautiful. People have been holding this coin here. It's a good upward trend here, slightly above the upper Bollinger here. This one's about money flow here. It's on a Binance coin. That's good. You get a lot of money flow on that exchange. This is an uptrend here. There's no doubt about that. We have long-term consolidation with an uptrend movement here. There might be a better entry in this one because we're already above the upper Bollinger.
Yeah.
But if you were going to scale in here for a trade, keep it tight. There could be better opportunities. But for right now, this one looks poised for some more continuation.
I just think it's great. I'd like to point out you keep reiterating to wait, and I love that because I had a couple people DM me today. I had a guy DM me today, and he said, I'm in fiat, man. I'm getting annihilated here. I'm like, what do you mean you get annihilated? He's like, the price is going up. It's going up, and I'm in cash. I'm like, oh, good. So you're fine. You haven't lost any money. You're completely whole. He's like, yeah, but it's going up. Who cares? It's a 24/7 market.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of figure out where are you buying in the cycle. You look like you want to say something.
The cycle, what you just said, is so important. You have to understand where you are in the cycle right now. So we have to acknowledge that a new cycle began basically the last week of March, where the majors bottomed out, a lot of the alts bottomed out, and we did not know specifically that that was the bottom. But we can say 3 weeks later, when we've seen some crazy gains from a lot of these alts, that yes, that was a bottom in this moment here. Maybe not the bottom, but it definitely was a bottom. And what we've seen over the past 3 weeks is money flow, fiat being put back to use, great gains on a lot of alts, great stability in Ether, Litecoin, and Bitcoin. And we're at this moment here where we're 3 weeks into this nice bullish run. We have a lot of money made. Remember, there's now new money that's in crypto because of the re-inflation, if you will, of a lot of this money here. So is this new money in the market, or is this just a higher valuation which everybody is prepared to pay for that has basically inflated the price points of this as well? Yes, it is. So here's the situation here. We're now at a point where people may have felt they've missed the train, or they want to get on the train slowly. As we begin to build this FOMO, this, oh, why am I in fiat? I should be in these coins. I don't want to miss out anymore. As that begins to build, we will see more gains happen. It could be setting up, though, for some sort of a major correction that could catch everybody off guard. As a seasoned trader, I'm always much more conservative, I feel, than I used to be when I was a trader, based on just being through so many wars and being wrecked so many times in situations where I felt I was on the right side of a trade. So at where a situation we're at now, you have to understand that there's been some great movements over for 3 weeks here. And you want to buy into strength, which is okay, but you don't want to buy into a situation here where you kind of get yourself caught at the top of some of these channels here. A lot of these coins are overbought. There's other ones that haven't run as quickly. There are better opportunities to pick your battles and keep it tight. We haven't bottomed yet in Bitcoin is my thesis. I feel there's other downtrends to happen. We're going to see how it plays out. Just be smart and pick your battles wisely.
All right, that's a great way to play it. There's a couple I want to make sure we do real quick. Obviously, we're gonna have to go over XVG. It's been kind of talk of the town. We did have our recent news event. So you have to obviously think that no matter what the news was, a lot of it was built in. Those gains were built in. So we're kind of giving that back, and then we're gonna have to figure out where it finds a bottom. Obviously, we're wanting to kind of hold this level right here, which looks like we lost it, but maybe you can regain it. That's an important level. If that fails, Big Chonis, I'd want to maybe see like this area roughly hold 600, but I'd just, I'm a little more skeptical, so I'd be looking around 500. Just real quick before I'll ask you to comment, I do want to point out there were some pretty good signals we received on the 15-minute chart right here. So I made a tweet, oopsie, excuse me, right here at 10:82. We had a great signal to take profit. So here's where the news hits, Big Jonas. The news, so it started to dump because they were like 9 minutes late in the news. And then it dumped, and then you have the dead cat. And there's a signal right here where you had your spinning top and your hanging man. You see that? And that's telling you dead cat, and boom, that's 1083. We're basically 25% lower right now. So that was your signal, and I outlined a couple levels to watch on the wider chart. What are your thoughts, Big Jonas?
Okay, so I don't care about the Verge news and the Pornhub news and the buy the rumors, sell the news. I only care really about the chart. And the chart tells me that, yeah, it's obviously correcting from a beautiful, epic move it's had over the past several weeks, where over 100% of the gains were made. If we can look at the daily chart just real fast again and get a sense kind of where we've been, where we might be headed, and what the future may hold. Listen, we've had a great run. We're correcting. This clearly wasn't a situation here where the coin was pumped. There are people that were in it. I hope people didn't get, I mean, you haven't gotten wrecked yet. Depends when your entry was. If you bought towards the very top, not top, and you went hard and long, yeah, you're pretty wrecked right now. But it's not completely, a ruined chart by any means here. You see how wide the Bollingers got. You see how spread out they are. This is correcting. I think people are either deciding, you know what, I'm holding. I don't care. This is my long-term investment. I don't care. On the dip, I'll be adding. That's fine, okay? But from a trading standpoint here, you see a situation where it was way over. I don't say it was way overbought. It was a very nice run. That's correcting. I would not be surprised if we see a similar pattern play out in a lot of these altcoins that have recently have incredible green day after green day. And don't be surprised if you see a similar correction pattern takes place. If you believe in a lot of these coins here, these only just present better buying opportunities.
Yeah, I think if that's a great call. If it can hold here, then maybe it can bounce back to 1,000. It's at 800. Just real quick, I would just do a real quick because I know I see a lot of people requesting. I just want to do XRP. It's been on a real nice bull run, Big Jonas. XRP, and we'll just do a real quick. Real quick here. It looks healthy. There's no real warning signs yet. I mean, you're starting to get definitely overbought at 73, but in recent history, our RSI in the 4-hour was able to go to 86, Big Chonis. So this is on a nice run, but no warning signs too much yet, right?
So Ripple is, I think, a great example of where the current market conditions are right now. It's one of the ones that is considered one of the big ones, obviously, for the run it had early. The fact that CNBC has associated itself with it in many ways, good and bad. And the fact that it has had a nice bottoming consolidation area in the 7,000-ish Satoshi range and is now basically having a nice little move here, we definitely have to acknowledge that. The thing is that new money is going to see Ripple as this situation here because it's at the top of the charts there. Top 5 coins will always get a lot of information there, a lot of money flow. So I think that's why we're seeing that happen in Ripple as well, because it's going to put money into it because it's one of those coins that seems to be at the top there. This will be a barometer, I feel, as to what happens in the next few days. I think Ripple could be one of the ones that potentially could be selling off first, which could be interesting because of just, I don't know, how I've watched it play. It almost feels to be the one that's the most flippable. There's a lot of coin out there. So you see a situation with Ripple as kind of a leading indicator sometimes of market sentiment. Let's do a few more if you think, Jets.
Okay, real quick, there's just 2 I want to do for sure. I see a lot of requests. We doing this. We want to, this Big Cheds. We want to help you guys out. I don't play hardly any of these, and I know you don't either. We just want to give you some good, honest perspective, a little back and forth. So you can decide what to do. We're not advisors. We're just guys talking crypto. Juan, WAN. I have no idea what this is. I know people. I've seen people talk about it. So if this is your big project, your number 33 is not bad. 33 market cap is pretty good. 106, not too bad either.
Yeah, 106 million with a $6 price point.
That's not bad.
That's not bad, but here's something that I don't really like here is the 15 million in market volume, 24 hours. This is a low-ish volume coin.
Yep.
Not terrible, but it's one of those situations here where you have to always keep an eye on the dollar volume into a coin.
Okay. But let's look at the context. It's 15. If it's always been 5 and it's now 15, that could be amazing.
Right.
So we have to look at volume in context, right? Sure. So let's just look at volume in context. I guess we'll go daily chart if we're looking at that. And we still have volume hidden from before. So there it is. So there's our volume back on the picture. Clearly the newly listed Binance chart. I don't put too much into a daily chart that's got like 20, 30 candles.
Yeah.
You know, just to be honest, I'm going to go 4 hour for my whole view, my long view here. Yeah. We're clearly in a bullish consolidation, and potentially you could argue that we are maybe looking at a bull flag breakout, because if I try to draw a trend line like that, and I try to draw a trend line like that, you can argue that's a falling wedge breakout. I'm going to bring the chart over. You guys can decide.
And I agree, Cheds. I mean, even though it's a new coin or a token, and these are ones that I'm not super excited about just because of the lack of chart and price history, it's still finding its price valuation here. So a lot of these coins are driven on news, on what the project can basically pump in terms of either who works for it or what kind of projects or time tables they feel they want to accomplish along the way. A lot of this can drive a lot of price action, especially with new coins that don't have a lot of price history. I agree, this is clearly basically a falling wedge into a bullish potential break. Let's go to that. And we're seeing the reaction to that. Nice buy volume there. It's bought. It's definitely a nice uptrend here. A real break though of what, that 5,500? Is that where we're at there?
What, the wick high or the candle high?
The candle body high.
Candle body high, yeah. Well, that's 80. What is that? 83? 83. 83 up there. We're at 74 right now. So that was 8,300 right there. Yeah, it's impressive. It kind of would suggest you can go a little higher, and we're gonna move on real quick. But I would watch that area right there next and see what happens. But you know what? The RSI is only 59 on the 4 hour. So if this has Momo, it can go. And real quick, I'll let it go here. This actually is a bullish consolidation. We're starting to form an ascending triangle in the 4 hour. Typically, you have your initial candle. It's a decent follow-up where it didn't really sell off, and you see volume decreasing. You're near a pivot in the next 4 to 8 hours. I think potentially break or test this trend line. And I know for sure I want to do NCASH. There's a lot of people asking about NCASH.
Do one more, and then we'll go back to the majors.
Okay, last one, NCASH. So, and just real quick, it's like, so I saw a lot of people tweeting about there may have been some news that NCASH is doing something shady, and I let people know that people are talking about it. I don't really make judgments because I don't know. I'm putting it out there for a discussion. That's the whole point. I'm trying to be someone who can give you guys the best information and kind of stoke the best conversation possible. So, and by the way, just real quick, that's me at Big Cheds. That's his Big Chonis at Big Chonis on Twitter. So NCASH, what do you have to say here, Big Chonis, on NCASH?
So great uptrend here, nasty candle. This is an example here of when you think you're buying into a nice uptrend, and then a matter of 4 hours there, you get presented an opportunity where you can buy back to where the price was, days ago, a week ago. And that kind of presented thatself to with that super nasty candle there. Now at the bottom of that candle on a 4 hour time frame was super oversold, was way outside the Bollinger Band. So the fear produced a lot of people that saw this as a great buying opportunity. I don't care what the news was, what happened, what caused that dump. What a buy opportunity that was. And look how much higher it is now. Like, that was where good people, good traders were able to scoop up some super cheap NCASH potentially. So here's an example where I'll bet you people along the way may have felt they had missed the run or wanted to get in. If you set some really low buying entry points and just forget it and just see, maybe it will hit, maybe it won't, be very surprised on a super suck out wick, which happens all the time. You can scoop up some super cheap coin at a great valuation. before you even know it. This example of that right
You know,
there in
what's
NCASH.
notable to me is volume, Big Chonis. Now, look, let's look at this. So this 4-hour candle, we had a clearly we had a capitulation, right? This next candle is what, like 30% of the volume? This candle is halfway done. We've got 2 hours left, and it is nothing. So that tells you that's price being stable. That actually is a sign that it might be okay to dip your toe.
Down.
Yeah, the selling slowed down. There's clearly buyers. There were buyers up here, Big Chonis, right, at Big 550. So this is actually not a bad sign. This is a sign of stability. Volumes are key. Like this is like you've gotten over the flu. You've gotten over the cold.
We talk about wicks a lot. How wicks are important to get a sense of the strength of something like that. That's a massive bullish wick. Even though it's a terrible candle, it's a bullish wick because it went so low, so fast.
And bulls came back and said, I gotcha.
Came back, but almost half. And the next candle was a
pretty
nice
good.
Green one.
Pretty good.
And we're trying to consolidate, potentially putting in kind of a bullish little.
And look at how tight a range it is. That's indicative of a rising support and just selling, disappearing.
So we'll see if it follows through.
We'll see if it follows through. We're going to wrap it up, picture folks, real quick. We're going to take you through the depth chart. My main man, Big Chonis, wants to go to Bitcoin first. And what do you have to say?
All right, so Cheds, I like the 6 hour on Bitcoin because it's basically the 4 hour plus 2 more hours.
Quick math.
It gives you a sense I like the standard deviation is a term we've used a lot, basically, of when things are outside, too overbought, too oversold. So I like to use the Bollingers a lot, give you a really nice sense of when things are way out of sync. Same thing with like shorts and longs. If the shorts are loading up super heavy, that's an imbalance in the market. It can create a situation where you have a violent candle up or down. We had a up one as we see here on April 12th, and we've basically been playing with the events of that day ever since. So we basically found support way above the 12-day EMA. We broke it, found support on the 26-day EMA, held that. Now we're back over the 12-day. That's super bullish. That's very impressive. You have to acknowledge it. A few things that stick out. Tight range. Volume decreasing. Not terrible, but look where we were a couple days ago. Look where we've been. Every day we're trying to get more money flow in. It's just not happening. Could be on the sidelines, it could be waiting, or it's just the real money coming in when it feels it's corrected properly in the mid sevens. Let's zoom out here on the depth chart and get a sense kind of where the money is parked. Now, there's a couple things, Chads, that have kind of changed somewhat from the depth chart here. Let's hit +1 time there. From where we've basically been seeing it over the past couple of weeks. This used to be a very bearish depth chart. Something that I felt was very basically bearish for several reasons. The angles, where the money was propped up, where the walls were propped up. Right now, I'm seeing some very short-term bullishness where I'm seeing a lot of buying staggered to 7,500. That shows me there's a lot of money hit plus twice. That shows me there's a lot of money here wanting to scoop up coin from now to the 7,500 range. We have a lot of sell walls already set up at 885, 85, 86, 87, 88, and basically all the way to 91. So we have this anticipation of profit taking in the higher eights. So I see that as kind of what the market is assuming will play out. We're not going to go sideways forever. At some point, it's going to be a massive green candle up or a massive red candle down, and that's what we're kind of waiting for right now. I know a lot of traders have been just waiting on the sidelines to see how this plays out. The price of Bitcoin will affect the alts. If Bitcoin goes up 10%, it will basically add roughly that valuation to the alts across the board, more or less, depending upon how they play out through the day. If it drops 10%, as well. So keep it tight. If Bitcoin does have a correction, it will affect some of the alt Momo. You might see the alt starting to correct again. If you feel the correction will then lead to a higher Bitcoin price, it might be a better opportunity to take your entries into the alts as well. The big winner in the past 24 hours, clearly Bitcoin Cash. Now, Cheds, we had a little talk about this.
Yeah, we did.
We refer to the big three as Bird, McHale, Parrish, but we also refer to the big three as Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. And even though there's a lot of negativity about Bitcoin Cash in terms of how it was created, who controls it, how it was put onto the GDAX platform, all those things are things to basically be aware of. But you have to acknowledge the great money flow and just the great pump it's had over the past couple days, couple weeks.
Because the CNBC pump, right? Brian Kelly, who called Ripple at nut top. But this is clearly, I mean, you got a little warning sign here. RSI's topping off. You have the spinning top here and a little bit of a follow-up candle. We're halfway through this follow-up candle. This is looking to be topping off. I'm kind of inclined to actually tweet this just to give a signal to my friends. And if you look where we are too, we're kind of at a logical resistance area.
Right there. There's history there.
So I'm gonna go ahead and tweet this while you quickly wrap up the chart, and we're gonna kind of wrap this show up.
Yeah, listen, I want to wrap up this by basically saying, you know, we have to acknowledge there's been some great money flowing into these coins here. A lot of fiat on the sideline apparently has been putting in play over the past couple days, couple weeks. Okay, a lot of these things from the chart, from a technical standpoint, a lot of these alts are in the overbought to extreme overbought ranges, but some are not. Some have lagged, some have not caught this bullish move here. Those might be potential buying opportunities. There will be corrections in a lot of the ones that have run, especially the ones that have run really hard, that may represent another better buying opportunity, a better entry to these than we currently have now. So pick your battles and be smart with these. I guarantee to you, you have not missed the big run. I guarantee, I don't feel we have bottomed. I believe we will see a test potentially of some of these lower prices here. But until Bitcoin has a big correction, either up or down, we really won't know have a standing of the marketplace. When things get too out of whack, when Momo gets too big and too out of whack, a situation where people get caught off guard, that's when the big guys like to tank the market and create volatility, which can create the next trade opportunity. So be smart, be patient. Everybody can win on this. Just got to pick your battles wisely. Thank you for having me, Cheds.
Oh, thanks.
Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah.
There's a lot of info
so you'll pay for dinner next time? Because I got it tonight, right?
Oh, my God.
Sorry about that. Sorry to bring it up. You know, I feel like, you know, amongst friends we can talk about these things.
Indeed.
That was my man, Big Chonis, on Twitter, at Big Chonis. Please follow him. We're on the 10K follower watch. He says he's going to get a tattoo of Bitcoin when he hits 10K followers. I am at Big Cheds. Please, I encourage you to check out the Complete Beginner's Guide to Cryptocurrency Trading. You will love it. I wrote it for you. Hopefully, you know, I was just getting so many questions, and this helps you answer them. And, you know, I would just reiterate the comments of I'd like to associate myself with the comments of my esteemed colleague in regards to being patient with Bitcoin. So that's kind of what I have to say. And we'll hope to give you guys an update again potentially tomorrow. So until then, you know, we encourage you to, you know, study hard, be patient, and, you know, be kind to each other. All right? Take care. Bye.